we are back, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. This one, we got some good topics. We got box office to talk about. We got two Q&As we're going to touch upon here from members of the channel. I put out a Q&A a couple weeks ago, so people were submitting questions. So we're going to have a bunch for the next couple of, next few podcasts, really. So it's going to be a good show. I could feel it in my bones, or that's just my back aching. It's one of the two. I don't know what I'm feeling, but
It's not Transformers Rise of the Beasts, I tell you.
Ricardo, help! Tag team, help! I need backup.
We all know he's got bad taste in movies. It's fine.
I mean, are we gonna... I mean, it's Ricardo, so you never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
He's not here to defend himself, so we're just gonna take a dump out of the entire show.
I mean, all those anonymous posts he did in the Facebook group, like, come on now.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, everybody, it's gonna be a good show. We're gonna see what sort of tangents we go on here, but before we get to those, we of course, as always, have me to introduce everybody here, and I, of course, am your host, Armin, and as always, I am joined by Mitch.
What's up? You can follow me on the socials. You know where the link tree is by now.
Yeah, I hope they do.
Go see me cooking on Instagram.
See me cooking.
Yeah.
Well,
Got me smoked meat in the barbecue. It's all good.
I was gonna say you're cooking up something better than the DC universe. That's all right.
That's not difficult. Let's be honest.
That's true. That's true. But
who's
also,
more awake, me or Keaton? Is the question.
Ooh, I mean, how tired are you?
I'm very tired.
Okay, well, I think you might be more awake than Keaton with half his lines.
That's good nuts.
But Tristan, how awake are you comparable to Keaton's role?
Well, my brain's fried right now, so see, I can't even remember the click the social link for extra stuff, but yeah, I'm just
say let's get nuts.
No.
Say it.
That was legit how he responded to the line too. He was fine, I'll say it.
Well, I just like after seeing it, or seeing most weeks, I was just like, I'm not gonna say how I saw it, but while
you saw it how most people saw it, Tristan.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry right now. No, it's all on TikTok. It's fine.
I was gonna say it's hard to argue how most people saw it from what I've seen. So
yeah, it didn't keep my interest whatsoever, and like how they put displayed Keaton's Batman as an idiot. I was like, okay.
Yep. I mean,
funniest part of the movie.
You know what his role in this felt like to me? Like, he was trying to be Harrison Ford on the red carpets when anybody asks him a question. He just doesn't deliver an answer that they want. He's just like, I don't want to be here. That was Keaton the entire role.
Yeah,
because like even with where even in interviews, kind of like he just like phoned it in, especially where they asked him about where the nuts line came from, and it's just like, oh no, I just thought about it on the spot, and they just put it in the script. I was like, oh, it's gonna be bad. And then when you see what happens to Batman, and they're like, oh, okay.
This is like how they said that during Homecoming there was takes where he would just turn to the camera and say, I'm Batman. And WB would have kept that in The Flash. Like, they would have kept the line like that in The Flash, even though it didn't belong. You know, it's like, yeah. But, look, we're going to talk a little bit more about The Flash in just a bit. We'll get there. But we do have a proper show ahead of us. So we're not going to waste too much of your time. And we're just going to get right into our first... we are recording this right before everybody gets to watch the first episode of Secret Invasion. And the reception has been, well, it's the worst rated Marvel Studio show like that they've produced, according to critics. And even some fans are saying, yeah, it's this is a stumble, which I don't get, because a lot of the complaints I'm seeing, people are like, it's what I wanted. It's slower paced, and I'm like,
Well, from what I saw from previews, it's saying it's Marvel's Endor, so it's like people.
That's
it's like it's gonna be a whole lot of talking and less people doing stuff. So that's
But it's
where
it's at 70% now on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's good.
Yes, that's where I think where people are having like these mixed emotions, where it's just a lot of people talking about political stuff and espionage, not much action or interesting stuff doing during the episodes. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what, like, I'm seeing a bit of a mixed bag, mixed reception. It is what it is at this point. I didn't honestly expect it to be perfect, just because of, like, you could see from the early trailers, and we know what happened very early on in development of this. We know there was multiple reshoots. I mean, Jackson just gave an interview where he said one of the directors literally quit like the first day of shoot. I mean,
yeah,
it's a little bit, you could tell that this series did have some problems, and we knew that very much from the start, where they were like, oh, they're going back and reshooting major elements of this already, and who knows what the cause of it was. Obviously, we won't know till we see the complete series, and that's the thing, like, with these reviews, they're reflective of the first 2 episodes. So we don't know how that back half of it is going to turn out, So it's like, it's always a weird thing to judge a TV show by 2 episodes, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've never really Rotten Tomatoes is Rotten Tomatoes, right? But for TV shows, it's never the full thing.
Yeah.
So it could start off bad but end really great, but it's never get reflected because everyone's done their reviews in the first quarter of it. So it is what it is. You take it how you will.
Yeah, like, I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, if it gets to the end of the season and it's super slow, not a whole lot happens, and it's just like Nick Fury being like, I must work alone, and like the plot doesn't evolve much and his character doesn't evolve much, then all right, you probably could have changed some elements of this. But I'm like, looking at most of the MCU shows, the back half is always stronger outside of the episode where they go, okay, now this just becomes, like the typical ending. So
I know we're not about to trash the memory gauntlet episodes.
No, we're trashing the 2 witches fly around in a circle hurling energy balls. that was.
I mean, that was the only bad part about that finale.
It was, yeah. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but yeah, who knows? Maybe that'll flip the series upside down on its head when we have Nick Fury floating in the sky throwing magic super balls or something.
Imagine. Well, they tweeted out last night about like what to watch beforehand. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was part of that.
It's happening!
So I was right. I told you all.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, this is a little interesting and weird, but okay. All right,
I didn't even notice it until I read the replies, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Scrolled up, I was like, oh, damn, it is in there.
Clark Gregg about to show up and steal the show.
Yeah, it probably is just Coulson. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I will be okay with that.
I'm fine. Yeah. I'd rather old what's her name, Chloe Bennett coming back, but I'll take Coulson.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough though. So that's it. Let's not dwell too much on it. The show's coming in about 6 weeks from now. We'll know how it's about to end, and we'll talk more about it. Are you guys craving to talk about this one?
Oh.
Huh? They're going to put that line in there, right?
I'd be lying if I said I was.
Please don't. I saw that trailer now.
I expected Kraven the Hunter, and I got Kramer the Woodsman. Because
you got Sony rebooting Catwoman, but with the dude.
Oh my god! Like,
yeah,
where do Radioactive Lion bites Kraven, and now he's at peace and communicates with telepathic animals?
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing, because like people didn't know how he got his powers, and like going back to the trailer, you see that I guess lion blood went into him.
I was gonna say the trailer hard focuses for 30 seconds on this single drop of blood going into the lion. Which
no, it's like hard to connect.
Makes no sense because that would be his blood, if anything.
Yeah, that's the reason why there's a disconnect. Is like I thought it was unless they didn't show the part where the lion got shot or stabbed or something. But even at that, it's like they don't even show like what's different about this lion. It's just like a regular lion, and then it's like some what is it, some genetically altered lion, or is it just some radiated lion?
This all sounds like a massive fever dream, but I know it's in the trailer. Like if you were to tell me this is a Kraven trailer, I'd be like, this is a fan fever dream, right? Like it's like no, this is Sony at its peak as always. Like what do you expect?
It's just weird because like they're trying to give him like some like weird origin when he's just some hunter that's just hopped up on drugs to get his quote unquote powers. Like you couldn't just like shoot him out full with drugs and so he can get his powers.
Did anybody realize this? Because I went and compared it to the leaked script. It is 1-to-1. Like it is that leak. So that scene of him sitting in the office when the dude walks in, he's like, where is he? And he's like, you're standing in his blood. That's the end of the movie. So Sony once again did it. The ending of the movie's in the trailer.
Well, I mean, they also did the thing, what they did with the Morbius is try and goat people into going seeing the movie by giving some sort of like unconnected spider.
Yeah, you know full well that's gonna be the start of it, right? It's like I hate spiders. Like,
oh yeah.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. It's like maybe Spider-Man is in this. Spider-Man is in this, and it's like no, you don't get that, and yeah.
I mean, the leak literally said after like he's sitting in the office after he disposes the guy, he looks to the TV because he's in Europe, and it's like a manhunt is on for the so-called Spider-Man. It's Jameson, and it's that same scene again, except he's masked this time, and he's like, I should visit New York City. And that's how it ends.
But, yeah, like, because I've seen some of like the fake ones, and it's like, like with this Kraven, there's like, he has no reason to go to New York City and hunt Spider-Man with this version of Kraven, how they built him up being a, I guess, for the animals instead, but even then, it's like, what do you want him to be? Because he's hunting his own prey, and it's not even like Kraven at its base, because he doesn't care. He'll hunt anything.
I mean, this is Sony, so like, what I want is what I'm not gonna get.
I mean, you got Kraven like killing people with bear traps.
You got Rhino not being a robot anymore.
Oh, that's gonna look nasty.
I've seen some takes on the Rhino thing where people want the robot Rhino because apparently some dude like screaming at the top of his lungs in a Rhino mech is not as goofy as what was shown in the trailer. It's just about it as goofy. So, to me, I'm just like, where did that process to you thinking that someone potentially turning into a Rhino and a Rhino mech are not the same levels of goofiness that come out of a comic book that you read?
I honestly, who knows? I mean, it's our first trailer. The film comes out in October, ahead of the release of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which also features Kraven looking like Kraven and doing Kraven-y things. So this one's at least got half of it right with the poster. He looks like Kraven.
I said the poster has him looking like Kraven. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But that's where it ends.
People were surmising that he's just going to wear that towards the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
100%, yeah.
What they need to do is make the tagline of this film, the hierarchy of the concrete jungle is about to change forever. Because that poster is straight up Black Adam on the throne, like comic accurate and all.
And
it's
that
like,
means every movie after this will be making less and less, and ironically,
the next movie's El Muerto or whatever, Madam Web. Of course, it's gonna make less.
Let's be honest. No, it's not. El Muerto's never happening.
Good.
Madam Web, yeah, you know that's happening.
They're past the point of no return on that one. So, You know what? We're done talking about Kraven. I don't know what else to say. The trailer is straight up trash, so there you go.
Russell Crowe's doing his Zeus impression again.
Yep. He probably got told he's playing the same character, so he just did it. That's how Sony suckered him into it. first Q&A on this return. This comes from our good friend Marvin. And he asks, do we think that the studios today making these projects on barely recognizable, almost no history characters like El Muerto are a good idea? And do we think Marvel Studios and DC are also going to make more of these as they run out of characters?
I mean, Marvel's and DC are nowhere near running out of characters.
Yeah.
We've barely scratched the surface.
I mean, I think the closest they've gotten to it is probably, obviously, a Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, that's like your...
I'd have said Thanos. No.
And that too, yeah. And DC, I mean, Blue Beetle, I would classify him as kind of in that territory.
I don't know.
Well, this is the current iteration anyway.
Yeah.
You're right. See, I don't know.
Reyes was created at a time where he wasn't like all that popular at all, and people mostly know about the two previous Blue Beetles over Reyes, even though Reyes came like in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I do think there's an appeal to it, but the character has to, take off and be in a successful universe around him to balance off. Like, I would argue that Scott Lang's Ant-Man, the less popular one, because everybody knew Hank Pym from The One Thing.
Not quite the less popular one.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it,
We have O'Grady right there.
Oh, yeah.
The GOAT O'Grady.
Yeah, so...
But, yeah, me personally, I think you will start, if the situation demands it, they'll start going into the more unknown characters, just because technically you have more to work with, because you can almost do anything with said character if no one knows, except for that one person who likes the history of like a particular universe by a company.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
what are we defining as unknown though? Unknown to who? The general audience or the comic readers?
Both.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me you know about El Muerte.
No, I don't. No. It's the general audience knows nothing about like any of these guys. And no one knew about anything about Captain America. They knew who Captain America was, but that's where the line ended.
Yeah. I don't know, so it'll be interesting. I mean, it's always experimental. We know James Gunn is the king of taking obscure things and tossing them out there, so I suspect DC's going to be scraping the bottom of multiple barrels. So, I mean, they already are Creature Commandos, right? Like,
so they can't get much lower than they are now.
We'll talk about that soon.
That's how sometimes they reinvent a character for the better or for the worse.
Yeah.
In the case of Sony, where like seriously, who wants us? Like a movie about Hypno Hustler.
I'm not defending the movie. I'm not defending. But Donald Glover, I'm kind of in. I know it's going to be bad.
I'm
kind of in with Donald Glover.
Like after Across the Spider-Verse, people were just saying like just change Hypno Hustler to the Prowler.
Yeah, that'd be okay. Yeah. That would be great. I mean, make it the Prowler movie, and that's how you introduce Miles for their standalone Miles film that they want to do. Like, that could be a nice gateway into it, but I don't know.
You can't use the same soundtrack because they already stole their own soundtrack for the Kraven trailer.
True. That's true. So, yeah. Well, there we go for that Q&A. So, thanks for asking, Marvin. Let's talk about the thing we all expected, and it happened. So, multiple delays officially happened from Marvel Studios, including a entire phase reshuffle once again. And again, everything got bumped back, by like a year or two. And in my opinion, it's all good, because like when Chapek was behind announcing everything, we had way too many projects within 2 years. Like, what was he thinking when he was like, you know what'd be a great idea? 2 Avengers films 6 months apart. No.
I mean, I stand by. I was down for that.
Oh, I would have been down for it, but I think that would have been ultimate burnout, in my opinion.
Right? I don't think it would have done well, but yeah, I would have been through.
Yeah.
Now we've got to wait like 10 years. God damn. Who knows when Kang Dynasty's gonna come out.
I know. It was supposed to start shooting by the end of this year, but now with an extra year, it's probably going to be. I mean, with the majors problems, the writer change, the writer strike, actor strike pending, it's good that they delayed everything, because also we found out very much that same day, Daredevil production is permanently shut down. They're out of material. They can't shoot anymore. They can't write anymore. So make no mistake about it, Daredevil is getting delayed as well. So
I mean, everything's good. The only thing that's not getting delayed is somehow Deadpool.
Yeah, that gets bumped up by like freaking 9 months or something.
Yeah,
like what?
It's crazy.
I mean, the production of that must be going really good. So,
on question.
I mean, no production goes really good in the writer's strike.
That's true.
No, I'm just like almost half convinced that they're just speeding this through because at the end of the movie, Deadpool comes to MCU. That's all that matters. That's all that
matters.
Well, no, I hate to give the guy his due, but Rob Liefeld had a very good point. You know, he's in the mask 95% of the time. You can literally film whatever you want, and then he can come in when the writer's strike is done and ADR anything to make it sound better.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much it.
That's probably why that movie is being brought forward. But even then, it's how the writer's strike's going when no studios like budging on anything. It's going to be a long time before anything happens. But
yeah, which again, let them take their time. I mean, a lot of people were like, they should take more time and get better projects out, get better writers and everything. Well, here you go. You're getting more time. They're not rushing everything out the door now. So let's hope. Let's hope for the best, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see, though, like how everything we had gets bumped back and where. Because, like, they announce all this, right? And even on Marvel's website, there's all sorts of everything, all the movies getting pushed back. Again, the only one missing, they make no mention of Armor Wars again. And I'm always like, ooh, can you guys just, like, say something about that movie outside of, like, we're still hoping to make it? Okay.
Well, did they even have a writer on that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it just makes me...
Not anymore. That one's got writers, but... Yeah, that one's having some trouble.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So it'll be interesting to see how this rollout happens. And I'm going to just tell people right now, just because they delay these films, it doesn't mean they're going to stay there. Chances are there's probably more delays incoming.
Yeah, it's a placeholder, right?
Yeah, look, this writer strike, it's pretty bad. And
somehow this is the big one. The one in 2007 wasn't.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's paling in comparison.
I mean,
you know it's bad when like HBO's out here getting rid of the HBO name in their app purely for the sake of not paying residuals to rights.
Yeah. And also, I do want to mention this. This is very important when it comes to this part of conversation. The writers in their contract, they want the streaming like entities and studios to give them transparency on views. Because right now, Netflix, Disney, Max, Peacock, whoever, right? They come to you and they go, here's your residual check. You made $180 from streaming in the last month. And they go, okay, well, on TV, I know exactly what amount of views that is. Can you show me what amount of views I got on Netflix? And they go, nope, that's forbidden. There's no transparency. These writers could be lied to through the teeth. Same with the actors. They got no idea because these numbers are behind walls that they will never disclose. That's what they're fighting for. They want their money, right? Because I can tell you right now, I follow like a guy on TikTok, and he's a writer that's written a lot of stuff in the 90s and early 2000s. And he goes through his residuals, and he's like, hey, this episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, I made $780 in the last month. And then he's like, oh, this episode of Friends that was streaming where? I made $4.80. Now, I guarantee you, Friends has made 10,000 times that for him. but it's on a streaming service, and they keep the money away from him. So that's what they're fighting for, and I hope they get it, because then we will also have an idea of what the views are and how much money they spent and burnt, and that's what they're trying to hide from us. They're
this
trying to hide
from Netflix, right?
Exactly. Like, it's
So it's just surprised about everything. We're like, throughout this whole writer's strike, you get and like the streaming companies not divulging how much money that's being made off of these shows. You have things like Netflix, where instead of actually going to the table and working out a contract, they're opening up restaurants and like firing off all the janitorial employees, trying to blame it on the writers. And I'm like,
imagine thinking that would ever make a difference.
Yeah.
All you've done is just fire people that have no involvement whatsoever.
But the bottom line,
they do have an involvement, man. They're depleting their bottom line. So
it's not even noticeable.
Yeah, but the investors, the high end people don't care. They just want their things.
They just want stuff to happen.
Yeah. They know society is about to collapse like any day now. So it's like, quick, get as much money as we can from people.
It's crazy. I don't know what to say. So we'll talk more about this when we get more news. But this whole writer strike thing is I hope the actors also can get what they want, because if they don't and they walk by the end of the month, because they got till the 30th to work it out. If the actors also walk, and the actors are backing the writers,
did they already vote to strike?
Oh, they vote, but the studio has till the end of the month to answer before it goes on official strike. So it's that pending till the end of the month if the studio's going to do anything. But
they won't.
No, they won't. They will not.
The studio might give them the offer, but whether they actually, unlike the Directors Guild, if they actually, mean that they stand in solidarity with the writers.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk more about this when we know more by the end of the month and early next. Let's jump on to our final topic. Guys, it's Jover for the Flash. It's it.
Oh, it's Jover, all right.
It's
never been more Jover.
This is it. Okay, let's start it off like this. People expected this film to underperform. They did not expect this film to come out and bomb so hard that literally every single analyst is scratching their head going, what? There has not been a mega blockbuster that bombed this hard and performed this much below expectations since, oh my God,
I can't even think of one.
I think Batman v Superman's second weekend might still be the expectation, but again, that was the second weekend drop of historic proportions, and that was just the second weekend. I quickly looked up the biggest blockbusters that had the biggest underperformance, and this managed to perform worse than Green Lantern expectations.
Nice.
This is just embarrassing. It is shocking. I
mean, what's embarrassing for me is that they thought that the Chinese audience would save them, so they started doing some savory things to try and get the audience to go see the Flash. And they found out.
Yeah, apparently they're paying people.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And I mean, it underperformed in China massively. Europe, where they were hoping that the film was going to strike gold, that underperformed. International, like Brazil, Mexico, massively underperformed. United States, we went into the weekend, they were like, all right, 70 low end, 80 high end. Then we get to Saturday, they're like, okay, 65 is what it's going to make. You get to Sunday officials, and Monday morning, they're like, 55. What?
Yeah, it's nuts.
20 million.
Considering the Thursday and Friday, it was on track with Transformers. Where the hell did the rest of it go?
Yeah, what happened?
Damn.
So I did want to just gauge with my general friends. They're the ones that'll go see a movie and stuff, right? and like they don't know about any of the craziness that's happened with Miller or whatever. Like they're not tuned into that. They might have heard a couple things, but they don't really pay attention. And
let's say he's been all over the news,
right? Especially here, where they have committed crime in this area, so they kind of know about that. But some don't even like watch the local news. And I was like, "Did you go see it? Yes or no?" And the replies came in, and everybody was pretty much like, "I don't trust DC. I don't trust DC. I don't care. I don't care about Keaton anymore. I don't care about this specific character." And I'm just like, I think this film had everything going against it, honestly. Like, it was all compounded from one thing to another. So, it's... I mean, just think of it this way. 3 DC films in a row have bombed and not made a profit. James Gunn has to do something so revolutionary to save this brand. This dude is climbing up the ultimate hill.
The fact that Black Adam out of the last 3 has made the most, right? I genuinely don't think there's any saving the movie franchise.
Same.
At this point. Unless Legacy comes out and it just blows people away, it might actually just be dead. Which is sad to say, but it might just genuinely be one too many.
I genuinely want to ask you guys this question, and I think they're going to have to do it. You need, and I seriously mean you need, to scrap every single actor or anything that's a holdover from the old one. The moment John Cena shows up as Peacemaker and Margot as Harley Quinn, you're automatically associated with you. Superman Legacy needs to be fresh, nothing holdover. No mentions of Aquaman, Jason Momoa's, like they said, Aquaman leads into it somehow or whatever. No Gout, none of that.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
He's with Clooney right now. So.
Yeah, so, like, look, I agree with you. I think this film brand is dead outside of Batman and Joker being Elseworld, and people will go see that. Yeah. Like, this needs a concrete reboot and hold nothing over. And, look, I'm going to say it right now. Anything they said about Flash 2, that's out the window. There's no way.
100%.
I mean, you would have to be the most insane dude ever to greenlight that. And not even Zaslav is that insane. So,
I wouldn't be surprised if the plan that Gunn had is drastically changed after this.
Same. 100%.
There's no way it stays the same. No chance. Mm-hmm. Which sucks because it's like, I kind of want Sasha Cale.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard her name be pronounced without someone going like, how'd you pronounce it? So I literally haven't got a clue. But the girl who plays Supergirl, like, I wanted her to be in Supergirl movie. I genuinely don't think it's going to happen now.
Same.
I mean, sucks. I still want it, but I just don't.
That's again, a connotation holdover from this. People would automatically go, like, that is a genuine thing that's associated with this now that I think is unfortunate for the entire brand. And I really want to see what their next step is. And like you said, they're going to have to adjust. Now, how you adjust after this, I think one thing they're going to have to do is budgets are going to be slashed across the board. You are not producing.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at like a 75 mil Superman Legacy.
100%. 100%. This is going to be cheap. So, I mean, look, I'm not saying there's anything bad about that. Phase 1 and Phase 2, those films there was some cheap films in there, okay? Like, Captain America and Thor, all things considered, were literally tiny little 125 to 150 mil budget films, but they focused on the character, and that worked for them. So I think Flash is going to result in that across the board, and I think that's smart, honestly, because, boy. Oof.
Yeah, you got to start low and then work your way up.
Yeah.
Because they've got an uphill battle to climb.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't reboot Superman and, like, be good with it, then...
Yeah. And also, I do want to ask, like, and bring this up. We find out the day after, actually, like, the Saturday after the film, once we got the box office, I think it was Variety, that's like, we can exclusively break this. Yup, Muschietti is directing Brave and the Bold. It's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which, I'm going to be honest, I'm not mad about it.
Same.
Surprisingly, didn't hate The Flash. It's not great.
Yeah.
Didn't hate.
Same.
It's it's the upper side of mid. Keaton is terrible. Like, thank God they scrapped the Batgirl movie. I'm completely flipped in that movie now. Like, I don't care who's seen it, who says he's good in it. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
There's no way. He was not awake in this movie whatsoever. Like, but the movie as a whole, I'd watch it again. To be honest, I got no need to, but I wouldn't hate watching it.
I mean, the inevitable commentary, that's what we're going to be watching it for, so that'll be...
I mean, we're like 3 years behind on those.
I mean, the DC ones, I don't even want to do the rest of them, so we're just going to cherry pick at this point.
Figured.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I wouldn't, I'm not... Out of the... You know, I skip Shazam too, because I ain't put myself through that.
Yep, that's terrible.
But out of the more recent ones, Flash is probably the best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not Gandhi got resurrected to tell me it's godsend, but it's, you know...
Oh, no, you know. Clearly, Stephen King was lying, you know. There's no way that was...
It's obvious. WB was like, hey, we'll let you make a cheap passion project on Max as long as you praise this film. He's like, all right.
Pretty much, yeah. But like the way Muschietti done Batman in this, like the actual action of Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Like, I'm down for it. There were characters in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't pin all the blame on him for this. The CGI is, I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I mean, guys, the CG in She-Hulk is intentional, so it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's all intentional.
You know, I tipped the hat to the bull crap he tried to spew.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good story, a good excuse, but no, I ain't buying it.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to do, but it ain't so, and I ain't buying it. So
when you show this at like CinemaCon or wherever, and it's like, oh, this movie's not finished, and it's the exact same CGI. Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah.
You haven't worked in this movie for 2 years.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah. Well, this was the Flash post-mortem because it's dead. It ain't getting more.
It's set to lose like what, 300 mil?
Yeah, optimistically.
Yeah. You still got my mole man too.
I mean, that box office is going to end how Momoa ends in this movie. Let's be honest. Drunk off his tits and face down in the street.
Yep. R.I.P. or not, we don't. Yep. That's it. That's the podcast, guys. We do have a members topic. We're going to be recording about Gal officially saying, "Yep, I'm done with this. I have nothing to do with Wonder Woman anymore." So we're going to talk about that.
I'm empowered to not have a job. Like
it's we're going to talk about that in members topic. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. As soon as we know what's next, and obviously stay tuned for audio commentary of Secret Invasion. That's hitting us. Actually, the audio commentary should be out by the time you're hearing this on YouTube on Saturday for the podcast. So there's going to be a whole lot to talk about with Marvel and DC going forward. So it should be a good summer full of adventures, and let's hope Blue Beetle is a good movie because I'm genuinely hyped for that, and I can't take another DCL.
It's going to make $3 no matter what.
I mean, at this rate, if The Flash with Keaton can't make more than $55 million, Blue Beetle is at least making $12, at least from me seeing it in IMAX. So, all right,
Blue Beetle deserved better.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough, but we'll talk about that soon. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you all next time.